Hello, hello. My name is Shalana Battles and I am indie author of 3 books. I'm really excited about today because I want to talk about books that are not my own. A while back, I watched the movie Book Club. It was not the first time I've seen this movie. I actually really like the movie Book Club. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's hilarious. But it got me thinking about doing something for myself that, you know, like writing, didn't really have anything to do with anyone else. Like my husband or my kids, and something fun. Like I was getting to a point where everything felt like pressure or like stuff I had to do, you know? Like I didn't have anything in my life that was like, even writing, like I love it, but it's my job. So I didn't have anything that was like, no pressure, just for fun. So I texted my 2 very best friends, Stephanie and Alexis, and I was like, I am manifesting a book club for us. And, you know, when we're old retired ladies, we can take a trip like they do in the second movie. And so the cons to this whole plan is I live in Colorado and they live in Arizona, but it's worked out pretty good so far. We read our first book and then we met virtually. So we had like a computer meeting. It was like 2 hours long, but my husband was here and he kept the kids and I got to just like really enjoy that. And it was super fun. We were gonna meet the next time in person, but something fell through on my end, so I couldn't be in Arizona. But I'm supposed to be in Arizona again in March, and so fingers crossed that I get to meet with them in person in March. But it's been really fun. They just did like a book event for Done and Dusted, which I was so jealous that I was not there for. But my point is, I wanted to do at least 1 video a month. That's my goal. That is about books that aren't mine, because I read a lot and I love to read, and it really does influence my writing. And this book club has kind of branched me out because for a long time, I mean, I'm a romance girly and we read romance in, you know, the 3 of us, me and my friends. But I had went way down the path of dark romance. I was reading, you know, There Are No Saints, Hunting, Haunting Adeline, like very dark romance books, and my friends are not. So it's been fun for me to be exposed to books that like I wouldn't pick up on my own. So once a month I want to talk about books. I will definitely be talking about book club and what we're reading, and I think that'll be really fun. And then if I'm reading stuff on the side, I'll talk to you guys about that too. And hopefully you like books and that's why you're here. And maybe you'll get some good recommendations along the way. The rest of the month I will talk about, you know, writing tips, editing, publishing, my books and my writing progress and what I'm doing. But I was like, it'll be cool. It'll be fun to, again, have a place that's like, no pressure, once a month. Let's just talk about reading and make it fun. So the first thing that we read was A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall. This cover's super, super pretty. Like I said, we had a 2-hour meeting about this book and for the most part stayed on topic. Wild. But this book was beautifully done. I really enjoyed it. I don't read a ton of historical romance unless Alexis recommends it, and she's who picked this book, and so it was great though. I've never read anything historical that she's recommended and not adored it, not loved it. You know, it's not something I'd pick up myself, but when she recommends it and I read it, I'm never disappointed, and this was no different. I loved the way this book was done. I don't want to do spoilers or things like that. I will tell you if I like something or I don't like something. But I did love this. It was super, super great. So this is Childhood Friends to Lovers. But it has trans representation, which I loved. I have never read a book where the main character was trans before. I read books with the side characters being of trans identity, but never the main character. And this was great. It was so well done. It set the bar super high for that genre of books for me. And so we'll see as the year goes on what else I can add to that list, but I will be comparing everything to this book. It was so, like, just pretty is the, like, it was very elegant and just very well written. The plot was amazing. And even in like the first few pages, like I said, I don't want to do spoilers, but I was texting Alexis because she had already read this when we started it, Stephanie and I was like sending her messages like, this is what happened, and she's like, yes, crying face. So I mean, it pulls you in pretty quick. And it's definitely a book where you don't want to put it down until you know what happens. The other thing I like, and I'm always reminded that I like with historical romance, is these very subtle romantic tones. With dark romance, there's nothing subtle about it. You know, it's like, she's mine, anyone who disagrees gets their throat cut. And like, there's really not a lot of like romantic undertones, and every time I read historical romance, I'm reminded how much I love that. Those just like these subtle flirtatious moments, a hand touch, or you know, a certain glance, or like they say a certain sentence or whatever, and it's just very subtle and very just like heartfelt, and I'm never disappointed with that in historical romance. And so if you haven't read historical romance, or you read it and you really enjoy it and you have not read this yet, A Lady for a Duke, I definitely recommend it. Okay, the next things that we're reading, we were ambitious and decided to read 2 Emily Henry books, Beach Read and Book Lovers. I am not done with these. Again, we're ambitious, and then we started these right around the holidays, so Christmas and traveling and yada yada. So we pushed our meeting back. We're gonna meet about these hopefully this month. But I do like Emily Henry. I've read other stuff by Emily Henry. So far so good, but we'll see. Maybe next month I can update you guys on these and how our meeting went and kind of my final thoughts on those. Something really fun that we did at Christmas, what we're reading after we meet about these, let me veer back really quick, is Iron Flame. Right? Is that what it is? Nope. That's the second book. Fourth Wing. I was like, that sounds wrong. Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I've read a lot of Rebecca Yarros books, and I've seen Fourth Wing obviously all over the internet. I don't read a ton of fantasy, but I'm excited about it. But I also, because I've read that author before, actually one of my favorite books, The Last Letter, is by her, and she loves to get you almost to the end thinking everything's gonna be fine, and then rip your heart out and feed it through a wood chipper. And so she's the queen of plot twist, and not just any plot twist either, like ones that really make you just horribly sad. And then you get to the end, and even if it's a happy ending for the couple, a happy ending, you're like, she's a little too much real life for me sometimes. So we'll see how that plays out in a fantasy book. But anyways, that's what we're reading after these 2. So next month I'll have some things to say about that. But a fun thing we did at Christmas was we gifted each other books. And so I don't know what Stephanie got for me and Alexis, because she mailed it to us, I think yesterday, today, I'm not sure. So when I get that, I can talk about it. Alexis gifted us The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which, again, this is a book I've seen all over the internet, have not read it. So I'm excited to read it. These are books we're doing for book club, or we haven't said that we're doing them for book club. We were just like, hey, pick one of your favorite books of 2023 and we'll gift each other copies. And so Alexis got Stephanie and I this. So when I can, I definitely want to read this. I've heard good things. I'm excited about it. And Alexis has never steered me wrong. So I have a lot of faith in her. Obviously, me being the only dark romance girly in the group. So Alexis is very much historical romance. Stephanie likes romantic comedy, contemporary romantic comedy. I'm the dark romance girly. So, of course, I gifted them one of my favorite books for 2023. If I could have picked any, and some of you guys that have read all of these are going to be like, that was the not as bad one. But I wanted to gift them a dark romance that wasn't too much. This is a lot. I did tell them it's a lot. And if they decide not to read it, that's fine. Dark romance is not for everybody. I also told them if they have questions going in or like they're worried about certain parts, let me know and I can tell them which ones to like look out for or skip. So I gifted them the Mindfuck series. This is a hefty book. This is 5 novellas in one book. And it is one of my favorites. Also, the cover is just, that's amazing. That's gorgeous. You know, I loved Haunting, Adeline, the first book. Loved it. Could have gifted them that. Second book, too much. Second book was too much. That wasn't even a romance. That was just a horrible roller coaster ride of terrible. Not the writing. The writing was great. The plot, it was just too many things happened to her that book is just, it's a sad one. Anyways, I'm looking at my shelf over there. I thought about there are no saints, there is no devil. But again, it's a duet. It's not one book. I wasn't sure. There's a couple of things in there. Arguably, there's a couple of things in here too. But the reason I picked this book, even though it's dark, is because you can't not love Lana Myers. Like, she as a female lead is amazing. She's incredible. And you can't help but love her. You can't help but root for her. You can't help but like support her mission in this book. So even though it's dark romance, it gives you a main character that's like everything. Yeah, my daughter's in here with me. And so if you like dark romance and you haven't read this, I cannot recommend it enough. Get you a copy of this. I'm pretty sure, I know there's ebooks as well. I don't know if they're on Kindle or you purchase them, but if you have never read dark romance and you'd like to give it a try, give me that one, Mama. This one needs charging. If you've never read dark romance and you'd like to give it a try, again, this is the one. If you like Criminal Minds, this is the one. Her love interest is an FBI agent. Say less. Like, it's so good. So good. And you just want her to have all the things. And the end shook me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to do spoilers, but I got to the end of this book and I was like, whoa. That was unexpected. But so good. So good. So I will try to end all of these with what I am currently reading. And right now, I don't have a physical copy because I'm listening to it. Ooh, it's not going to focus on there, I don't think. But Fletcher and Blackbird, if you've heard of the book, you probably knew from the colors. I'm listening to the audiobook. It's amazing. It's so good. The narrator's incredible. It's so good. I probably will order a paperback just because the cover's really pretty. Yeah, and I love the cover. It's really pretty. And I do that a lot. If I read something on Kindle or I listen to an audiobook and I love it, I still buy the paperback. Just to have it. And so that is where I'm at. I am on, where am I? Chapter 18, and there's 24 chapters in this book, and so almost done with it. But that's where I'm at. I would love to hear in the comments what you're currently reading, or if you have recommendations for me or for my little mini book club that I have going on. Please leave those in the comments, and I will see you guys. Yeah, I will see you guys next week.